One night a man was walking down a country road, or he was driving down a country road, and his car just randomly broke down, so he decided he would go to the closest house, which was actually pretty creepy, but he just decided he would try and find a phone book inside. So he knocked on the door, and no one answered, but the door was unlocked, so he went in and looked for a phone book, and he found one right next to a chair, so he sat down. And before he could actually dial the phone, he was so tired that he fell asleep. When he woke up, a little kitten was just sitting right next to him, and he thought it was really cute, so he's like, "Oh, cute little kitten," and he fell asleep again. When he woke up, a second cat came along. It was about the size of a normal cat, and it said, "What's going on? What is he doing here?" to the little kitten. And the man was shocked at first to see the cat talking, but I mean, he was tired, so he thought maybe this was a dream. The little kitten then said, "Oh, wait till Martin comes. He'll know what to do." Then a third cat came along. It was about the size of a dog. He was getting a little shocked, but once again, he thought it was a dream. So this cat said, Who is that? What is he doing here?" The little kitten said, "Oh, wait till Martin comes. He'll know what to do." Next cat that came up was about the size of a jaguar. It came up and said, "Who is that? What are we going to do with him?" The little kitten once again said, "Oh, wait till Martin comes. He'll know what to do." By this time, this man was totally shocked. His eyes were as wide as walnuts. So he ran out the door screaming, "Tell Martin I couldn't wait." And
This story is entitled The Bad News. Leon and Todd loved baseball. When they were young, they had played on their town's baseball team. Leon had been the pitcher and Todd had played second base. Now that they are a lot older, they spent their free time watching baseball games on TV and talking about baseball. "Do you think they play baseball in heaven?" Leon asked Todd one day. "That's a good question," said Todd. "The one who gets there first should let the other one know somehow." As it turned out, Todd got to heaven first, and Leon waited patiently to hear from him. One day, Leon found Todd sitting in the living room and waiting for him. Leon was very excited to see him. "What is it like up there?" he asked. "And what about baseball?" "When it comes to baseball," said Todd, "I have some good news and I have some bad news. The good news is that we do play baseball in heaven. We have some fine teams. I play second base on my team, just like I used to in the old days. That's the good news." "What's the bad news?" asked Leon. "The bad news," said Todd, "is that you are scheduled to pitch tomorrow."
Right?
Yeah.
So if I said something, you can edit it, right?
Yeah.
All right. This summer, for about 5 months of hell, I worked in Disney. And while working in Disney, being a chef, there was a lot of interesting stories that I learned about deaths, about suicides. But I think my favorite one is about Snow White. I'm getting a phone call.
Hi, I'm telling you a story about when I was in the 7th grade. My sister and I and 2 friends went down in the basement and we decided to have a seance. We sat at a table where there was a candle lit and we were calling on people from the dead. We got no reaction, so we kept clowning around, and then finally I said, "Devil, let's call on the devil." And I said, "Devil, if you're more powerful than God, blow out this candle." And immediately the glass broke, the candle went out and rolled directly in front of me. Well, to say the least, it scared us to the bitter end. And to this very day, I've never, ever, ever done a seance. And I don't believe in any of that 8-ball or any of that kind of stuff.
All right, my first year of teaching, I was teaching with a woman in her early 50s named Peachy, and she had terminal cancer. Well, at the end of the year, she died. Well, about 10 years later, I was teaching with another woman at another school, and it came up in conversation somehow that the second woman, Peg, had bought Peachy's house. After Peachy died, her husband had sold the house, and Peg and her husband bought it. Well, I said to her, oh, I knew the woman who lived in that house, Peachy Peterson. And she said, oh, I know her too. She still lives in the house. And she proceeded to tell me that after they moved in, her daughter, who was about 8 years old, talked about this woman that would come and visit her in her bedroom. Well, the family thought it was just the kid having bad dreams. Well, then the son, who was about 2 or 3 years older than the daughter, comes into his mother's room one night and says, Missy's not making this up. The woman came to see me. So then Peg has never seen her, but they've heard her a lot. She makes noise in the house. And one time Peg was up in the attic and she was like cleaning it up and getting ready to paint it. And Peachy must not have liked what she was doing because she started banging things. And Peg was all alone in the house. And so she talked to her. She said, Peachy, you know, this used to be your house. It's my house now. Someday it'll be somebody else's house. I'm just trying to keep it nice. I'm just trying to fix it up. And she said after that, Peachy got quiet. And so apparently my one friend is a ghost in the house of my other friend in Devou Park in Kentucky.
One Sunday, I went into Sunday Mass like I always did at St. Joe's in Cold Spring. And my father had passed away about 9 months prior. And I walked into church, and just like I usually did. And as we were singing our opening song, I heard somebody walk in behind me and come up right behind me. And they were singing, and he sounded exactly like my father. And he sang through the whole song, and actually we went through the whole Mass, and I could hear him right behind me. But then when we did the Shake of Peace, I turned around and there was no one there. And that is my ghost story.
Okay, my aunt's son was killed in Vietnam, and she was really grieving about it, worrying about him because he had not been baptized. And he disappeared to her one night. She was sitting in her chair in her living room, and she said his vision of him disappeared, and he told her, he said, don't worry about me, Mom, I'm okay.